Office hours, office hours. Party time, excellent. Copyright infringement.
Oh man. So I'm just checking to see if we're broadcasting on LinkedIn. If your event shows live after broadcasting. I'm just checking LinkedIn. It's not showing. Click join. It says the event will start soon, but I don't know why they're not seeing. Oh, there we go. It's up. It's up. It's live.
All right, let's go.
Ignore my preamble. Sorry.
All right, we're just all working through our office hours podcast format here.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll switch over.
And there we go. Just down the music a bit.
There we go.
All right.
Welcome,
everyone. That was a smooth start.
Oh.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, fantastic.
All right, welcome to Office Hours with Rob and David.
Rob and David here. We're sans Chris this week. He's attending to other things, and so Rob and David are here to take you through AI Office Hours and talk.
Well, the reason for that is because we're doing a little bit of a divide and conquer right now. Because coming out of ICSC, we've booked all kinds of important meetings to give us insights into some of the tooling that we're building and some of the solutions that we're providing. And it's great. We got to sort of split the team sometimes to get all these things done.
Exactly. So we'll always try to at least always have the constant two, and sometimes we'll change it out depending on who's working on stuff. But here we are. So how about, what are your thoughts coming out of, I know we want to talk about AI, we want to talk about commercial real estate today. We were at a trade show last week.
I guess also we can like wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And like I saw your post about like all the things you were grateful for sort of down at the show there. And I echo that sentiment. You know, it was really fun to be a part of a show that was that elaborate and that well executed. So props to ICSC for pulling off such a smooth show, and also all the guys doing massive merchandising setups in such an impressive amount of time with like very sort of like modern mall build outs, sort of like all within a day for some of these vendor booths for like the major agencies and the major fast service food retailers that were at the show. And it was just great to see everybody hitting the ground running right when the show started, and all this deal making. And I thought, you know, what are all these guys going to do with all these tables at their booths? And like every table was packed, and deals were, it was like the New York Stock Exchange. Just the minute that it started, it was just like buy, sell. And it was really cool. And then also all those like fast service food retailers are vying for attention and trying to get people to build out in new developments that are coming into new town developments and stuff. So it was really cool to have a bunch of people there trying to feed us as much food as we could possibly eat the entire time. We really had some great times. We thank all those retailers that were at the show, but specifically, I think we excessively hit A&W and Jersey Mike subs. I might have had like 50 subs when I was there. It was great. Good. Yeah, it was great. It really is a great show, though. All kidding aside, from our perspective, we met a lot of great people. We talked about a lot of gaps in the solution market. We realized that a lot of people aren't even using solutions because they might be cost prohibitive. And there's a lot of front side, low hanging fruit sort of solutions like voice and automation work that we can do to really improve customer service in the commercial real estate market. So for me, just like a fantastic, insightful, cool, energetic show that I want to be a part of in the future for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It should be the first of many. And I'm sure we'll be attending more of these kind of shows and meeting great people. And just echo your statements. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, Canadian Thanksgiving. And it was nice to sit back and reflect after that like crazy 3 days of a whirlwind to go there and the crowd and all the energy and all the things happening. But yeah, you mentioned something I thought was interesting, was not as many people were using AI that I thought. There's a lot of curiosity. And I even thought it was interesting. People would come up and be like, this is what I'm trying to do, right? And they were kind of wanting to work out some of their challenges and things like that, which I thought was great opportunity.
It's a market that's on the precipice of embracing those solutions. And I kind of feel like it's kind of like everybody, you know, like you go on that grade 8 class skiing trip and everyone's standing at the top of the double black diamond. And there's that one guy that has to go first sort of before everyone starts to do it. And I feel like that's like the ICSC crowd. There's so much that can be done in the solutions market for these guys. Like 60 to 70% of calls are missed on the first turn with these agents. And that's what our research is showing. And if you can get a voice solution in place that gets people information they need on the front side, but also is collecting structured data so that you know exactly who your lead is and who they are and where they work and what they're doing before you have that first conversation, you can start converting those warm leads and hot leads at a much higher rate. And also it's great for customer service on the mall side where they're supporting those tenants. You want them to have solutions to be able to contact you in an efficient way. And also you want to be able to do regressions on all the data from those calls to see what are your most common issues, what are the pain points, and is there a bigger operational picture that AI can give us insights on. So I know that's something that you and I have sort of been working on the chat realm and getting sort of AI insights from like big data to see like in a 24-hour snapshot out of these 100 or so full chat conversations, like what actually transpired, what are the urgent issues, what are the important issues, what are the recurring issues, and what actionable insights can we give to whichever team at the mall to try to correct these things. So we're early days on these solutions, but as we start to see the power of the tools we can stack together in these interesting ways to solve problems like in a meaningful way. It's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah,
we got a lot of opportunity.
On those two parts that would seem to pop out quite a bit, where it was the leasing, that top of funnel, missed calls, missed opportunities, and to kind of tie into your customer service comment, there's customer service on that side too. I can only imagine, a rep or somebody wanting to lease space calling and leaving messages or not getting callbacks. It'd be a great way to, help give them a good experience, gather information from them, and set it up so that, a live agent leasing rep can call them back with already some of that information. It can get through some of that pre-qualifying and get through some of those bumpy parts. And more than one person talked about, their top of leasing funnel. It's a little bit janky. It gets a little bit, rocky, either missing calls, spending a lot of time with people to kind of figure out what they need or what they're looking for. I think those are all opportunities that we can look at to help them, help the end users find the right place for them. And then
certainly
what you're talking, the customer service side, just get answers faster, help people faster. It's not to replace humans, but just kind of like speed up some of those areas, but you still want
and you touch on some important points there, because I've known quite a few agents, and I know that the most successful agents, be it in residential or commercial, are the agents that are always on and turn things around and get things off their radar and get answers to people right away. And these types of tools allow you to do that at a superhuman level, 24 hours a day. And you can be texting information to that potential client as well to be like, here's more information about the building, and giving them leasing summaries. And, that gives them some information while you're gearing up to call them back and doing that back end research, whether you're doing it manually or we've engineered an automation to sort of take that structured data gathered in the call, do some background research on the person, pulling up their LinkedIn and figuring out exactly what it is that they do, and tailoring the sales conversation. The second that you're going into that conversation with the person, you're fully armed. So it's like really, and not in a way that you're like trying to like sell them something that they don't need. It's very like you've got all the consumer's information to make the sale efficient for them and yourself, which is what everybody wants. They want low friction information. They want to turn those deals. If they're ready to buy, they want to be able to do that in the least prohibitive way. And we've got all these new solutions, and we're sort of just on the edge of that market where everyone's embracing it.
Yeah, just getting to it and exploring it. And I think that was some of the things that we learned from a lot of those great people that shared information with us, talked to their different challenges, but seeing it very consistent across the board. It didn't matter what company they were at, there were similar issues that were coming up. And something you said, I think it's really interesting, is that, my customer service, customer engagement, marketing background, if as a prospect calls your company and then just leaves a message and hangs up and then waits for a call, they could be looking other places. They could be looking at other options. But if you had something like, I say something, but an agent answering, helping them along, all of a sudden they're connecting and working through something and sharing information. They may leave that call feeling a little bit better and a little more confident somebody's calling them back. So I just want to add that in there.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Is that's a big part of it, is like, if you've got 5 properties you're interested in and you're running down the list and you happen to miss that call and the second property, which may not be their favorite of the group, but the agent might be so on it that this person's like, okay, I like doing business with this person because they're so responsive. Probably this is indicative of like the service that I'm going to get for the life of this lease. And, you want to be in the right hands. So I think putting these solutions into CRE agents' toolkit is allowing them to service clients and potential clients at a level that they've never been able to prior to these tools becoming available.
Exactly. Yeah. No, 100%. So if you're out there looking for any of these tools, definitely hit us up, because we're working on some things. Well, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have something cool to share too. That coming out of that, we're building some really cool tools that help that industry.
Yeah, I think that part is interesting too, because what we learned is that there's some applications that people are commonly using that are very costly in that space. And we've already been sort of working on developing a solution in the background. And what we got was a lot of feedback from people at the show to tell us exactly how they're using these tools and what the most important features are to them, and then what they need to do with that information in order to provide it to prospective clients. So it enables them to get the right information about, traffic circulation on different corners and demographic information and all of this very important data that allows the system to provide the right recommendations, right? So I think having all of these conversations coming out of the show, and we've got our next 2 weeks are just booked full of CRE agents and asset managers who are decision making in this process, and people who have data companies, which could add very valuable insight layers if we were developing an application like that. So I think I think just coming out of that, there's so many people who want to give you information, because I think A, they're tired of paying too much for a solution, and B, there's sort of like a certain amount of animosity behind providing data to a system that gets more powerful over time because of the data that you're providing to the system, but not getting not getting a discount sort of. And it's like, and the research that we're seeing is some of these bigger agencies are paying upwards of like $50,000 per month for solutions like this. These are large agencies, and these are like, between $600 to $1,000 a seat. And you've got, 50 seats using a maxed out version of their solution. But what I'm saying is there's room in this market right now to take to bring a very meaningful solution forward get some people using the tool who may not even be using a solution right now. We're not even taking, market share from another app. We're just looking at the 60% of people who aren't using a solution currently.
Yeah.
And trying to say, hey, we've got an AI tool that is a little bit different than what is going on right now and leverages a bit different demographic information and gives you some different AI-based insights that could potentially be a lot more powerful for the end user. So I think for us, it's like really good to start getting additional insights because it's helping us build that product for the sector.
Yeah, definitely. I think those people are super important and super valuable because, hearing that stuff, some of the passion that they brought to the table, I thought was, I smile and I laugh because it's humorous, and I'm sure it's not to them when they're dealing with it.
Oh, it was passion with a hint of anger. There was
people were dealing with it. It was like, okay, let's not be this bad. It doesn't. I'm sure we can figure something out. So I'm always grateful to those people. Grateful.
Me too.
That they shared at our table.
It's funny because Chris and I were just speaking with a woman coming out of the show just prior to me coming on to office hours, who was precisely doing just that, where we were sort of doing a brain dump of all the problems in the current solution and really trying to get some valuable information on how we can develop a tool that solves for some of those current pain points with the current system. And I think the important thing with relationships like that is we can develop these tools, and some of these CRE agents are going to get early access to a premier, it's going to be janky at the start and we're going to be working through bumps, but they're going to get access to compare it to their current solution.
Exactly.
And that's and that's it, is we're going to start to get some valuable insight and rapidly iterate the developments on a product that in our own minds we could try to design as holistically as possible, but without boots on the ground with CRE agents, asset managers, data insights people, and sort of prop tech guys that are out there that are sort of reaching out to us. And I know that we've got some interesting guests coming up on the show in the coming weeks. But really it's adding a lot of insight, and we're very thankful and grateful that the CRE industry is sort of trusting us to try to bring a solution forward that might be an alternative with a lot of extra AI analysis power behind it. So I'm just thankful to have all these cool conversations with people that are willing to give us what's inside their brain.
Very cool stuff. Cool stuff. Did you want to talk about, like, and without getting too much into it, but some of the things we heard, or some of those, we talked about, like, we heard about, leasing pipelines and the challenges with using some of these platforms and the data. And then we connected with another platform that was allowing, like, we're discussing bringing their APIs in to look at more customer behavior, demographic information of areas and target areas and trade areas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about any, like, I know we're still in development, we're not getting into it, but I don't know, like, some of the cool stuff that may be happening, or some of the possibilities.
I'll just say that sort of like some of the unique novel features within the system that we're designing right now, without going into it too much, layers some information that is not available in other systems for extra layers of analysis and data insight. So instead of just having commercial leasing APIs and data coming in from providers, we now have extra additional demographic insights to layer over top of that and to provide AI insights. And now that we have these larger language models like Llama, like with the 10 million context window, we're able to take massive snapshots of data and combine it with those listings to provide very valuable insights. And of course, you need to set up learning models within there to gravitate towards more accurate predictions in the future. And then that just becomes a historical data versus real-time data and what the actual outcome was, and sort of like pivoting pivoting your learning model towards getting more and more accurate. So that's a very like basic sort of breakdown of what would be happening. But yeah, it was just great at the show to see additional data that's out there and players that are trying to get into, being a part of those systems. And yeah, really it's powerful stuff, because there's a lot of data that's not being leveraged right now inside of tools that if we start to leverage that data, it's going to cause a huge competitive advantage for whoever's using that tool.
Definitely. Yeah, they can look at it from all different points of view as opposed to just kind of like a property level. And then I know one of the other popular groups that we spoke to were asset managers. And I thought that was really interesting for me, because it's even higher level. They look at these properties as assets. Are they generating revenue, or are they generating funds, because they're tied to these pension funds and these investors and things like that.
And that's sort of the theme, is like sort of like the old like business sort of like adage of like follow the money, and not in like a weird way, but you got to know who's holding the purse strings and who's making decisions on platform adoption within their organizations, and what their strategies are for voice agents, and what they're as a whole organization. I mean, like agents in the real estate world, be it residential or commercial, have always also on an individual level tried to leverage tools to give them an edge and make them stand out, and always sort of are embracing technology, I think, faster than other sectors. Like if you look at 3D models of houses and drone videos and all that stuff that like are being leveraged in real estate on a regular basis, sort of like that's where like that technology sort of got its first show. So I think that's why having AI solutions that are available for CRE is actually interesting, because on the ground level where the boots are, you're going to get interest. But at the top of the organization, you've got these asset managers who are really driving that internal conversation about what are we doing operationally as a firm and as an agency. And I think, it's just great to learn more about that ecosystem so that we can properly offer services like on the ground level, but also as a whole to organizations.
Yeah, definitely. So they can look at efficiencies and look at ways they can run things smoother and maybe offset costs and stuff like that. Yeah, it was very cool. It was very enlightening. I know you guys had a chance. As one thing I didn't do was talk to the retailers enough, and I believe you talked to a couple restaurants. Can you talk about some of that?
Yeah. So we brought around some of our voice agent demos for, we had made a fast service ordering system with full menu and all that prior to the show. I won't mention the brand name because we're sort of in the process of pitching that. But it was, full menu access, and it was very seamless. And it was interesting to see the face, because you can tell that these guys had been demoed voice ordering systems before that they weren't happy with. And all of the faces, it was like 10, 15 in a row that were all just like, whoa, like, I can't even believe this is a voice agent. And it's really interesting to see the surprise, and also, the business case for these things to streamline. Like a lot of these places are taking orders individually at each of the locations when they could be triaged and tied into their POS or ordering systems in a streamlined way. So I think from an operational standpoint, there was a lot of interest out there. We've already had a couple conversations earlier in the week with some of those retailers who are interested. And I think really, it's very interesting to see an ordering system like that. And, mid-call, we were at like one of the Middle Eastern restaurants, and we're like, okay, switch to Arabic, and it just fluidly like switches. And then we're like, okay, switch to Farsi. Okay, now go over to Mandarin. And this person's face is just like, are we on Star Trek right now? Like, what's happening? It was awesome.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
I love being the first guy to introduce this stuff to people too. Yeah. Like, it's a magical sort of moment where it's like their first time talking to a robot, where they're like, holy geez, this is pretty nifty stuff, right? So a lot of positive feedback, a lot of interested parties, and I think there's a lot of people trying to figure out their operations who are restaurants that are new, that are like 10 location restaurants that are looking at like establishing a scalable operational model, and they might be corporate owned right now, but they're looking at franchising, and they're looking at something that's fully scalable and easy for their franchisees as a turnkey. And I think that's why these conversations are pretty cool too, is like we're able to really help solve some of those operational questions. Pretty cool.
Yeah, help those businesses in those early days. I think there's a couple like there's really cool things I like about it, because I think, you know, in a world where we're Uber Eats or DoorDash or Skip the Dishes and stuff, people are ordering online, and you can go online and book a reservation, but there's still people who call the restaurants. And something you had said, you know, some of these places are loud, which I know, you know, sometimes it's the bartender picking up the phone if it's smaller businesses, or it's the host, but they're trying to deal with people there.
Exactly.
So how can they deal with all these things? Plus layer on any kind of accents, any kind of language barriers, any of that stuff.
It's beautiful.
All of this stuff seamlessly makes the customer experience so much better.
I love it. And I showed you that Irish pub that I'm working on right now, where we've got Molly, and she's got a beautiful Irish accent. And it's just like, it's really mind blowing, but also from a solution standpoint, you got to think these guys are going to have an Irish fiddle band playing in the front, and it's going to be noisy as heck, any good Irish pub should be. Exactly. So you've got to really now think, oh, this isn't just like helping free up time for the barkeep or the person who's running across the bar to try to figure out what band is playing tonight, or what menu item we have on special, or do we have a seat for 4 people. It's going to know right away and be able to check open table and provide reservations and do all this fun stuff. So I think, it's like not just in commercial real estate that we're seeing these solutions really take off. We're seeing some of the smaller people in the market that just have a need and can't afford full-time reception, or can't afford their staff to be like not focusing on the front of house and stuff, right?
Like the customers that are actually there. And I've been to places where they seem to be wrestling, or you're waiting in line, they're like, hold on, let me pick up the phone, or they're on the phone, and it's just weird. And now if you are able to separate it and still give a great experience, it just helps your business.
And there's a lot of businesses too, like those malls that have a lot of security challenges in 2025, and there's different things happening in Canadian malls than have happened in the past. This is allowing your staff to be fully present and focused on the task at hand, instead of getting sidetracked by
is this store open today, or what time is the
precisely
Old Navy open until? Like sometimes they're just little, not interruptions, but they're questions that are important to the customer, but it takes the rep out of that.
They're parrot questions, though. They're like the questions you could train the parrot to sort of answer.
Cues, right? And I think something we're both big on is there's always a live person. Like if you want to talk to a live agent or a live receptionist, it can be patched through. So that stuff is still there, and it doesn't take away, but it's supposed to help these business owners, help the customers, like really help everybody. So I
think it brings solutions like cheaper than call center solutions with superior service, 24 hours a day, gets people all the answers that they need, sends them instantaneous text messages with information, and it's a superior service, and the person who's on the phone is very clear and easy to understand, right? So you've got an agent who enunciates and pronounces things, and we can force pronunciation for pronunciation models within the voice modeling and stuff, and we're doing cool stuff there, and just pretty cool stuff.
And even the different languages, like then the comfort level of the customer is even enhanced, because if they're struggling, if English is a second language, but they can speak in Arabic or Farsi or any other language, the agent can flip right away, and it's not like, oh, can I find somebody to translate this or speak to this person?
Well, and it's amazing, because one of the malls that we're doing is in a very in an area with certain demographics, where like having Hindi and Urdu translation might be an amazing feature of the system for customer service, right? So we've got, like, Canada is a very diverse landscape, and I think it's really good to be able to tailor these voice agent conversations on the fly in other languages. Really, it's sort of mind-blowing.
It's very cool. Man, those 30 minutes really flew
I was
by.
just
We're
gonna
coming
say.
up to the 30
say.
minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, did we even get through half the things we wanted to talk
That's
about?
okay. Any sort of final thoughts on ICSC or anything, Rob? I kind of always
I think
end
it
up
was
just
good. It
going
was a good learning ground. It was a good kind of trial. That was our first trade show, and the three of us were there, and I think we all made great contacts and connected with people. Like I said, I hope this isn't the last, that there'll be many more. I know ICSC does a number of different shows across the country and in the United States and stuff like that. But yeah, just getting into that space and helping solve some of those problems, I think, are very cool.
Precisely. Yeah, I think I had a good time, and I'm ready to go back. But we got a lot of work coming out of the show.
Yeah,
so
yeah, we got to do some of that stuff.
We got to wait till next year.
yeah, right on. Okay, with that, then I'd say we should wrap it up. If people gave us 30 minutes of their time, we're just over by a minute. Thanks everybody for joining. Dave, as always, a pleasure to wrap with you on AI topics and stuff, AI, everything. Join us weekly, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. here. We always post on LinkedIn, and then we'll share this stuff afterwards. There's usually recorded on the YouTube channel.
And if we said anything that sort of interested you guys, or you want to reach out to discuss a little bit of an operational audit, or just talk about any of the things that we discussed on the show today, please reach out to either Rob or myself, or both of us on LinkedIn, and just, or you can comment on our video on there, and just we'll connect with you and set up a meeting, because we love to talk with new people about what they're working on and try to get an idea of the whole the whole industry and how they need help with AI solutions. So yeah, reach out to us if you're interested.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. Okay, cool.
All right, guys.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks again. We'll see you next week. If you're of my age, you'd say things like same bat time, same bat channel.
I was gonna say hasta la vista, baby.
We're showing our age. Oh man, that's awesome.
All right, guys.
All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care,
guys. Bye-bye. Bye.